Roll VTR, 60 seconds live.
Stand by. Loading 1, 2, and effects 2.
No, we're live at 60.
Broussard trying to stagger free. Meanwhile, it's played along to him. Centering pass flagged down by Green. Played into traffic zone. Starting back up with it now is Martinez in a 3-on-2. Clifford gave it across. It's held in a shot. Safe free.
Seconds left.
For the win! Yeah!
Bases loaded. 2 out. Hard hit into right. Back at the wall. Tie game. Big Puppy. The grand slam.
But it's all about Usain Bolt. 2 meters clear, 3 meters clear, 5 meters clear, and away he goes. He's got 3 meters on his legs.
I'm your host, Sean Harris, and you're listening to the Scoop Talk Show right here on Wildfire Radio. Joining me right now at this time, this young man really don't need an introduction, but we gonna give him one anyway. He started out his career in 1979 with the NWA, the New Wrestling Alliance. He fought a lot of great wrestlers back in that time. He went on to win not one but 2 titles within the Southeastern Tag Team Championships, I should say, with Arn Anderson of the Andersons family, famous, as well as Randy Rose. He went on to go to WCW, where he fought the likes of Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, the legendary Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the legendary Mr. Pat Rose.
Hey, what's going on, man? What do you
All right.
mean, young man? I'll be 60 years old in May, brother. Dadgum, how did that happen?
Hey, you know, time goes by very, very quickly, my friend, because I'm going to be 50 in December.
You're right there with me, man.
Right,
Thanks
right.
for having me up.
Yeah,
Thanks
'cause
for
when you-
having me on.
Oh, I appreciate you being on the show because, like we stated before, we talked a while back and we got to know each other over the years. And I said to myself, you know, I would like to have this legend on my show.
Oh, man, well, I appreciate that, man. I don't know about legend. I was just lucky enough to be in the professional wrestling business when I was and with who I was. It'll never be again like it was in the late 70s, early 80s, early 90s.
I hear you because when I was young coming up watching wrestling, I was captivated, you know, about the whole sport in itself. And what, you know, Vince McMahon Jr. Along the way, like with the likes of Ted Turner, who started coming into it with WCW, Paul Heyman with ECW, you know, these wrestling organizations, you know, started to flourish, you know, after the Jim Crockett promotions, you know, had fell under, and then, you know, everything just started spiraling into a whole different category of a new degree of era for young listening audiences and people to watch, you know, especially with Vince.
Right.
Vince took it to a whole nother level. You know, his dad ran it for a while, but Vince had a vision to take the WWE, but back at that time it was WWF, to a whole nother level.
Well, you know what that done when he made that big announcement on Black Friday, Black Saturday, whatever it was, it killed the territory days. And, you know, it was going to come to an end. It was going to go worldwide. It had to. But what it done, the guys today don't have a place to work. They don't have TVs to do. They you know, they don't have, you know, working every night, sometime twice on Saturday and Sunday. They don't have that no more. They're weekend warriors. And I'm talking about indie guys. Most of them work Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And that's sad for them. And you know, we were lucky to have different territories and that we could work every day. And, you know, like I said, sometime twice on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
We were just lucky.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because, you know, wrestlers used to, you know, do it 365 days out of the year. spending a long time away from their families, their loved ones, their children, the wives, their girlfriends, or whoever.
Every Thanksgiving, every Christmas night, I was on a show somewhere. Whether it be in Nashville, Tennessee, whether it be in the Omni in Atlanta, it don't matter. Wrestling was running somewhere across the country every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, man. That was a big time and a time for you to make some good money.
Right, because now we got, every Christmas and every Thanksgiving, we have the NBA going on, we have the NHL going on, and things like that. So, yeah, the sports have now over the years has changed to where wrestling used to be the top promotion on television or on radio to where now it's basketball, hockey, or whatever now.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, buddy.
But like I said, we're gonna get off into this segment, and I'm gonna ask you some questions about the sport and what you're doing and everything like that. And, of course, Harley Race had passed away back on August 1st of this year, and that kind of sunk the hearts of a lot of wrestling fans, old school wrestling fans. Who watched him over the years, wrestled and did his thing. And all I want to know to ask you is that what did Harley Race mean to the sport of wrestling during that era?
Wow, thank you for that question. And forgive me if I get a little. This one hurt.
It's okay.
This one hurt. Not that I was great friends and held hands everywhere we went. Not that I rode with Harley Race. Not that I was Harley Race's best friend like everybody claims, man. And some people are. My point is, I loved Harley Race as a fan. I loved Harley Race as a professional wrestler. Not an entertainer, as a professional wrestler. He was one of the best. Here in Chattanooga, I got to sit in the dressing room with him and Tojo Yamamoto and just a bunch of guys in there. And Harley was laying down the NWA belt, was over there by his belt, the real belt, not the big gold belt, the real NWA belt. And Tojo was working on Harley's neck, getting him adjusted, this and that. And Harley was wrestling that night, main event. And I was there, and at WCW, I was around Harley. And, best friends, no, we wasn't. I'm just a fan of Harley Race. When he passed away, and my son sees this all the time. When the guys pass away, it hurts. It hurts your heart because you've been on cards with these people. You know these people. No, maybe not best friends, but you know them. And it really, really hurts. The one that's going to really get me is the Nature Boy. When he finally passes away, that's going to be a hard one. And I hope you understand, and I can, paint you a picture of what I'm trying to say. I hope you guys understand.
I definitely feel your pain, and I appreciate you, expressing that, because that's a meaningful, impactful part of your life that you'll never forget as long as you live. And like you said, the Nature Boy, was a very, very inspirational figure, and he's still doing it to this day. You have a lot of new generations following him, imitating the woo, that his famous woo sound. And I've seen moments with him where he fought Sting, he fought Lex Luger, He fought the Steiner brothers. He fought just about everybody in that sport, because Ric Flair was one of the icons, along with Sting, in the Monday Night Wars against
Totally
the
agree.
WWE.
Totally agree. Talking about Sting, and this is a funny story, line things up a little bit. I traveled with him and the Road Warrior when they come to Memphis. They put me in the car with them just to smarten them up or whatever. But I got down to Atlanta, and Sting was the man. And what a good guy. And yeah, I knew Sting. Been to his gym, the whole deal. But the whole thing is, hey man, I want to work with you, Sting. I want to work with you, Sting. And this was about every freaking TV, right?
Yep.
So here we go. It's on the sheet. Sting versus Pat Rose, or Pat Rose versus Sting, whatever you want to call it. First thing I done when we locked up, man, I poked him right in the freaking eyeball. I poked him right in the eye. He couldn't see.
You cheated.
Well, I didn't mean to. And I told him, I'm sorry. Oh, it was so funny, man. It was so funny.
But the crazy part, the beautiful part about back in those days in the 80s and then going into the 90s, you had scripts, you had writers, like Russo wrote for WCW for many years, and then he went on to write for the WWE. But back then, when you had bad blood with one another, you had bad blood with one another. I don't care if it was Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man. If they had animosity towards each other, they ain't gonna do no Slim Jim commercial together.
All right, here we go. Let me spark you up on something back when I was in it. When you come into a show, they will say, Pat Rose, you're working with so-and-so. Give me 10 minutes. You over. That's all you got. You didn't get no script. So what you did in the ring is what the people got. You could feel the people and what they wanted. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now, when I went into Louisiana, they had just started Rock and Roll Midnight. I was on first, second, third matches down there. What was my job? My job was to come out there, entertain these people, whether it be first, second, or third match, didn't matter. Entertain these people. Did I say entertain?
Yeah.
Wrestle for these people and freaking get them ready for the main event, the Midnight Express. For the main event, Junkyard Dog, Jim Duggan. Whatever it was, that was my job to get them ready for those guys. And we did that night in and night out, brother. We did it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, those are some phenomenal matches back then. I've even got some of these matches recorded on VHS before DVD.
Oh, my
came
God.
out.
If you would just watch, if tag team guys out there, listen to me. If you would just watch some Rock and Roll Midnight matches, you'd be amazed. And you got to look for stuff. There's this one deal where, let's see, seems like Dennis tagged out and he was standing on the apron. He turns around with his back to Bobby. Bobby got ass bumped, where they pick him up, bump him with the ass, right? He got an ass bumped into Dennis. Dennis fell off the ring. Bobby fell out of the ring ropes onto the floor. They wasn't even looking. Do you understand what I'm saying? They were going by feel. As soon as you feel Bobby touch you, take the bump. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You've got to watch for that stuff. And golly, they were great.
Yeah.
Two of the greatest tag teams, in my opinion, in the sport of professional wrestling. Yeah, Road Warriors were good. They were monsters. They could beat up people. That's what they did. They were great with that style. Rock and Roll and Midnight. They were high spot people. They were entertainers. They wore it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
Man, I'm loving this, man. Let's go.
All right. Okay. Now, in your career, and we're talking about your career, I looking back, because like I said, I got a lot of these matches on VHS tape, and I look at them every now and then because I archive them now. They're classics to me now, and these are matches that you don't see anymore, And me and my son, we would sit back and we would watch these matches, and my son like, who is that? And I tell him, who these wrestlers are, and because he's all about now the new generation, like with John Cena and Roman Reigns and all of them.
Right.
Because he's 12, and for me, it was you guys, for me being 10. So I'm like right around about his age at that time. And I noticed that, you went by a few names in your career. Let's see, I'm trying to think of one. It was Pat Fargo, was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
We did the Fargo gimmick. The Fargo started down in Florida. I always loved, and when I was 12 years old, I seen the Fabulous Fargos at the Chattanooga Memorial Auditorium. When I seen Donnie was muscled up, right? He worked out. He looked great. He had a body. And that's what turned me on to professional wrestling. And at 12 years old, I knew what I wanted and what I wanted to do. But when I was living in Florida, it was with WOW, World Organization Wrestling, that a few of the Japanese people owned and was putting money in. And the first set of Fargos was Pat Rose and Ken Timms. And Ken Timms' wife, Juanita, would make us outfits, matching outfits. And we got over. We were in, Greenville, Mississippi. We'd travel everywhere down the Gulf Coast. And then I think Timms had to leave or something. Then we got Marvelous Marcel Pringle. Have you ever heard of him?
Yep, I did.
He's from Mobile, Alabama. Good guy, man. He was Percy Pringle's cousin. And we got him. And then it ended up with me and Paul Lee with Don Fargo when we went to Memphis. So it was fun doing that, man, because I got to be a Fargo. I had blonde hair,
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. And we got to strut right in the middle of the ring in Louisville, Kentucky, at the Louisville Garden, man, doing the Fargo strut. And that was it was exciting. It was exciting.
Well, because like I said, I seen you as Pat Fargo, and I'm like, who is this guy? And I'm like, wait a minute, his wrestling style is the same as somebody else that I've been watching lately, but I couldn't put the name with the face at that time.
Yeah.
And then another name that came to my mind as you was talking was, you called yourself Mr. Wrestling.
Well, what the deal was, when I went into Dothan, I was in Louisiana. Arn Anderson calls me, says, Pat, you got to get to Pensacola, come on. So I gave my notice and I was gone. So when they brought me in, they tagged me with Mr. Wrestling number 2. We were Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2. Now everybody knows in every interview I do, everybody knows that Mr. Wrestling number 1 was Tim Woods. Pat Rose ain't Mr. Wrestling number 1. Although they called me that, I didn't see myself as Mr. Wrestling number 1 because of out of respect for Tim Woods. Now they put us together and we were wrestling everybody. It seemed like 2 went to New York. So they had to take me out of the hood. And what better deal to put me with? Randy Rose. Pat and Randy Rose. Here we go. We won the Southeastern Tag Championship and won it a couple times. Me and Arn won it a couple times. And all that was down in Dothan, Pensacola area, which I love that place. It was a great territory, short trips. Longest trip you had was Birmingham, Alabama. That was 250 miles, which 250 miles ain't nothing. You know, you can get that and drive that one day.
Yeah, you can.
You know, back and forth.
Yeah, you
but
can.
yeah, man, and it just so happened, man, Mr. Wrestling number 2, when I wrestled in high school in Trenton, Georgia, Northwest Georgia High School, Wrestling 2 was my hero. I taped on the bottom of my gym bag where I kept, you know, my boots or shoes, whatever. I had a picture of Mr. Wrestling number 2, man. And, you know, I love to. What can I say?
Hey, you know, you love your idols because we all have them, you know what I'm saying, to
That's right.
put ourselves
That's right,
in that mind frame to, you know, say to ourselves, you know.
You know something else, man, we're going to these reunions, and we have wrestling reunions. Scott Teal has one in Gallatin, Tennessee. The North Alabama guys have one in Lewisburg, Tennessee. And, you know, the one in Gallatin was Scott Teal. Scott Teal's a photographer. He's a great historian of professional wrestling. And, you know, I get to hang out with the guys that I know. Bob Roode, Rocky Johnson, Mike Pappas, beautiful Bruce Swayze, Roger Kirby. Now, what is my role in that? Why am I saying all this? They paved the way for me. They done what they could professional wrestling to advance it. Then it was my time. What do I do during these get-togethers? Bob, you need anything, brother? Can I get you a cup of coffee? You want me to make you a plate? You know, I'm going to take care of these guys because that's my job. I'm younger than they are. Out of respect, I'm going to do all I can to cater to them. They deserve it. That's what we need to do as younger guys. We need to take care of these older guys that made the way for us.
Yes, indeed. Because, you know, if it wasn't for the sacrifices of what they've done in the early days of the sport wouldn't be as big as it is today.
That's right.
It wouldn't be at all. And now we must include you into that realm too, because now you're considered an elder of the sport, and the contributions you made to the sport that contribute to the enhancement of what these younger generations of superstars are doing today.
Wow. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
You know,
Thank you so much.
You know, we gotta pay homage the way we need to pay homage to the people in our lives, whether we knew them or not, but to some degree, whether we watch them from afar or we listen to them up close, we're still connected.
Yeah.
We're still connected.
Brother.
You know,
wow, well
said. And if I was to be down there as well, I'm gonna be catering to all of y'all, cause I'm a fan. I love each and every one of y'all. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
I feel you. I get you.
You know, and that's, for me, that's my way of giving back to all of you, because you provided me as a young man growing up watching wrestling over the years with a lot of entertainment, a lot of love, and a lot of understanding of what your lives are all about, with those in-depth interviews with Mean Gene Oakland and all of them.
Yeah.
You know, so I got connected to y'all in that way.
That's cool, buddy.
And for me, I'm just grateful that, you know, I know a lot of wrestlers in the sport of today's generation, to where, you know, my son now is coming up that he's connected to help him understand what they're doing.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
You know, so yeah, I want to applaud you and everyone else, and say thank you, just like in the military. Thank you for your service, for all that you've done for the sport of wrestling.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You know,
That means a lot. Thank you.
you're welcome, my dear friend. You are so welcome. Now, what I want to ask you though, what was the greatest match in your career?
Probably Randy Rose and Pat Rose versus the Rat Patrol. Scott Armstrong, Steve Armstrong, and Johnny Rich.
Oh my God, you brought the Rat Patrol up, man.
The reason I say that, we drawed money everywhere we went with that. People were into it. Everything just clicked with those guys.
I loved them. I loved them.
Everything just clicked. Now, number two would probably be Mid-South Coliseum, the Fabulous Ones versus Tom Pritchard, Pat Rose, with Sherry Martel as our manager. We had some great matches.
Oh man!
I mean, some great matches.
I miss Sherry Martel so much.
Oh, she was a sweetheart.
Man, I remember when she used to be Macho Man's manager. They had some memorable moments in the WWE.
Yeah,
they did.
Sure did. Yeah,
They did. Now, when you got inducted into the Hall of Fame, what was that like? What was the feeling like for you when you got the call and they told you that you was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Well, man, like in 18, Randy and I got inducted to the Alabama Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's recognized by the state of Alabama and the governor. And it was huge for me and Randy. It was huge. A lot of important people in my life, my mother-in-law, Retho Alexander, John Alexander, my brother-in-law, Johnny Smith was there, my son, Camden. It was great. And then just this past year, I got inducted to the AWF WOW Hall of Fame, which is in Ringo, Georgia, which the Lee family, Paul Lee and family run. And it was great because that was here in Chattanooga. A lot of my friends were there. A lot of my high school buddies were there. And again, my family was there. And it was great. When I got the call, I was excited. I was humbled, But the one that I really want, if it's for me, it might not never be for me, but the one that I really want, the one that your peers vote you in, which Randy Rose got in it this year, was the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, Wichita Falls, Texas.
Gotcha.
And that's the one you're voted on by your peers.
Hey, you got to get there. You're no doubt about it. You are going to get there, my friend. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of time. It's a matter of when. And when that do happens, I hope to be there. You give me that call and say where you going to be at, and I'm going to be there.
I appreciate it,
and
brother.
I'm going to be backstage with a bouquet of flowers for you, too.
All right.
Now, we're gonna fast forward now, and we're gonna talk about after wrestling, what you're doing now. Set the Hook, the phenomenal show that you have that's being broadcast all over the country on ESPN and right here where we are at. Wildfire Radio. And for those of you, once again, who are just tuning in, we're sitting down and we're talking to the legendary Hall of Famer, Pat Rose. Now, getting back to you, my dear friend, Set the Hook. How did you get into the concept of putting that show together?
Well, I tell you what, man, I was going to church with a guy that owned the radio station, TV station, here in my little hometown of Trenton, Georgia. He come up to me and says, Pat, why don't you do a fishing show? Because I was fishing tournaments at the time, right? And he said, Pat, why don't you do a fishing show? And I said, okay. So to train me, they started letting me do segments. 10-minute segments. So here I am. I've got all this information, man. I'm ready to go. I could probably do an hour. About 3 minutes, I done blew my whatever, and I'm like, oh God, I'm scratching my head what to do. All right, so here's what I figured out pretty dadgum quick. The more guests you have, the less work you have to do, the less questions you have to ask. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And we were in Trenton, Georgia, and I was getting guests like Bill Dance, Roland Martin, just the top stars in professional bass fishing. So I'm saying, well, why am I here? Why am I right here? And I need to take this thing to Chattanooga. So I took it to Chattanooga, what I wanted to do, this and that, and they loved it. We were on WPLC, which is a 25,000 watt station. It's unheard of these days, but a 25,000 watt station, and it was getting over. So why not take it to ESPN? So that's what we did. We took it to ESPN. Come to find out, every quarter they rate you. You get a rating. What's your, what is it called? 18. It's called shares, right?
Yeah.
So we always were at 18, 20 share. That's unheard of. I mean, we were beating the big stations in town. We were kicking their butt.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, man. And it was, oh, man. And we've been doing this 13 years. January will be 13 years.
Man.
And man, we've 500, 600 shows in the bag. I love to do radio. I love what I'm doing. Matter of fact, I just come back from the studio. We had Bill Dance on, which is one of the top fishermen in the world. And we had Trey Swindle, which is the up-and-coming 19-year-old. That is Gerald Swindle's his uncle.
Oh, okay.
So it was a good show, man. We had a good show today. And just watch our Facebook. Look for Set the Hook with Pat Rose Facebook. And, hey, man, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Now, did everybody out there listening, did y'all get that? You can catch Mr. Rose on his hit show, Set the Hook with Pat Rose. Catch it. Go to the YouTube page. Go to the Facebook page. Subscribe. You're going to love it. I like it. I've listened to it. I like it. And I'm quite sure you'll like it.
I appreciate that, man.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You know, I gotta keep my audience tuned in to you and find out what you got going on and what you doing so that, they'll be up to the know on what's happening with you. Because, hey,
That's right.
it's like it is for, like we both know in the business, whether it's television or radio. You have to stay relevant, otherwise you become irrelevant.
That's right. That's right, brother. That's right.
So, yeah. Now, your son Camden, I told you over the phone that when we last spoke that I wanted to congratulate him on making the football team at his high school, as well as the great things that he's doing in music. And Y'all doing it. I mean, just what we talked earlier today. We talked earlier today, and y'all was down there in Tennessee at the Opryland Hotel performing.
Buddy, let me tell you something. I am so proud of this young man. He started playing drums. We're going to say 3 years old, beating on the pots and pans. Then we got him a drum set at 4, and he actually had rhythm. Then we started giving him drum lessons, and then he would stay in his room for hours playing drums. Never once did I say, son, don't play them drums. Never once did I say that, and I will never say that as long as I live. He has a passion for playing drums, playing guitar, playing music, and he's next weekend, the 24th, in Evansville, Tennessee, Ray County. He's going to be at the High Noon Festival, doing a set of acoustic set, playing a guitar and singing. And for 14 years old, he's one of the most maturest, well-mannered young men. He's got to take care of his daddy. His daddy goes off all the time, But he's one of the well-mannered young men, and I'm so proud of him. You just don't know, man. You just don't know.
Well, from a child, there's nothing like the love of a proud papa.
Oh man.
That's what my daddy told me, and I tell my sons that. Ain't nothing like a love from a proud papa, from man to man. We always gonna love our daughters no matter what.
Right, that's right, bro.
But when it comes mano y mano, father to son, we have to show them that we love them too, and we're proud of them just as well. And that inspires them to be the best that they can be as men.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, brother.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, man. My goodness. Once again, let the people know where they can find you.
Hey, man, this has been fun. Thank you for having me on, brother. Listen, go to Facebook, look at Pat Rose, look at Santa Uncle Pat Rose. There's all kind of Pat Rose stuff on there. We're on Instagram, Pat Rose01, at Pat Rose01. We're on Snapchat. We're on everything, man. You got to do that these days to keep everybody informed and all that, man. Hey, thanks again for having us. We love you, brother. Y'all have a good evening.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for joining me right here on the Scoop Talk Show. I'd like to thank my special guest, Pat Rose, for joining me. Great interview, my friend. Hope to see you soon when you get that next Hall of Fame call. I will be there. As well as I'd like to thank my sponsor, Keizu Coney, located at Western Michigan University campus at the Bernhardt Center. Whenever y'all in town, like I said, stop on through. They got great food, great service. You can't go wrong with them. The guys will hook you up. And also, I would like to thank you, the listener, for tuning in to the show. And you can tune in to the show each and every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon on the Pacific, 1 Mountain, and 2 in the Central and any parts of the world where you live. Thank you so much. I'm out of here like the breeze through the trees. When I'm gone, I'm taking all the leaves. Peace. See you next time. Love one another. Take care.